Hey, I'm Allison, and this is Realistically Consistent, where we talk about how to build sustainable fitness, nutrition, and mindset habits that actually last even as a busy mom. I'm here to help get you consistent, not perfect, and on your way to feeling like your best self. I'm so excited to start today's episode with you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Realistically Consistent. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am really excited about today's episode. It just feels like it all flowed out of me. And before we get started, I do just want to ask you genuinely, how is it going? We are now already almost halfway through February, which seems kind of crazy, but also like January took forever at the same time. But I want to know, are you someone who set maybe New Year's resolutions? Maybe that's even an extreme word, but you just started this year off feeling like this is going to be my year. This is going to be the year that I get my stuff together and I take control of my health and I start making good decisions. Maybe you are one where you found some challenges or ideas or trends or something like that on Instagram or whatever that you decided to try out. I know I've seen a few people posting about 75 hard or, wall Pilates or whatever it may be. So I genuinely want to know, how's that going for you? If it's going great and you're still loving it, awesome. I'm so excited for you. I still think this episode might be for you. But if it's not going great and you feel like, gosh, I feel like I'm failing again, another year where I set these goals, I had these grand ideas, and once again, I don't even know where a month and a half went, and I really need to get myself back on track. This is definitely going to be one of those episodes for you. So, if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you might have caught on by now that I am in this for the long game. I am not in this for whatever cool new fitness trend is out there or new diet or, even just the weight loss. I'm not in this for all of those things. I am in this for the long game of your health altogether as a whole. I'm in this for taking control of your health, no matter what phase of life you are in or no matter how busy you are. Because no matter what, that should be top priority is taking care of yourself because you only get one body and one mind and one life. And you deserve to spend every waking moment of it enjoying that journey. Whether, you're going through difficult circumstances or not, you still should be able to find some sort of gratitude in every single day. And in order to do that, that really starts with our health. So you've probably noticed every time that I get on here and talk to you about some habit or some information about nutrition or fitness or whatever it might be, you've probably realized by now that I'm always going back to just the tried and true, will always make you feel good, is really pretty basic when you get back down to it, can be really boring, but again, it works. And that's why we always end up coming back to it. But if you're just starting your journey, what you're probably realizing is that even those basics, as simple as they can still be challenging to really get started because it takes time. And that's the thing that nobody wants to hear. Even if it is simple and basic and boring, it can still take a long time to get them implemented, for them to feel like a natural part of your day. And not only that, they take time to yield results. And again, I will continue to die on this hill. If you are simply implementing new things for the pure goal of weight loss, it's going to be really hard to get anything to stick. So again, going back to all of these other podcast episodes I've made, you got to have a deeper why than just the weight loss. Because again, weight loss is a great goal. You want to feel confident. You want to feel good in your clothes. That's amazing. Not saying you shouldn't have that as a goal, but you need to have a deeper reason, a deeper rooted why for getting there. Something that you can actually hold on to so that when you are faced with challenges and choices, you can show up for yourself no matter what. But because a lot of these, again, simple, basic habits take time to yield results, and because we don't always have a deeper, stronger why, we often find ourselves leaning into the quick fixes, the trends, the challenges, all the things out there that you're promised results in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever that might be. And you think, oh my gosh, 2 weeks, I can stick with something for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, I can do that. Let me see if this trend actually works. So again, this is where we cue in like the vibration plates, cold plunges, the 75 hard, wall Pilates challenges, castor oil, fasting, red light. I mean, you name it. There's a million different things out there that are claiming to get you these results. And you know what? They probably make a difference. The scientific evidence that is backed behind all of these things making a difference is very likely quite true. But what nobody wants to tell you is that it's true for the people who are already doing the basics. So if you are leaning into these challenges and again, fads, thinking that they're going to go make a big difference in your life right away, well, you're going to be disappointed. And not only that, you're quickly going to realize that it's not even sustainable. It's not even something that you can or want to stick with long term. So, have you thought about that? What are you going to do once this challenge is over? Then what? How are you going to make sure that even if you did get results, how are you going to make sure that those results stick around if you didn't even enjoy getting there? It reminds me of one of those movies, or even just watching kids. I would watch kids when I was a teacher sometimes work so stinking hard just trying to avoid doing an assignment. They would spend so much time and energy finding some workaround so that they didn't have to do the thing than if they were to have just done the thing. If they were to just do the assignment, they probably would have spent far less time and energy than they did trying to go around it. Sometimes all these like fads and quick fixes and things like that, that's what it feels like to me, is like we're spending so much more time and energy investing in all of these quick things that we're crossing our fingers and hoping they work than if we were to just go back and do the basic things that we know work. And again, those are things that I talk about in almost every single podcast episode. Drinking your water, moving your body, eating whole foods, things like that. I want you to walk through the scenario with me. Let's say you saw this post on Instagram about some fad diet that you think, oh my gosh, that actually doesn't sound too bad. I could probably do this. That is going to get me results in 3 weeks. I'm going to lose 5 to 10 pounds. I'm going to feel so much better. I can do this. And you decide that you're going to do this diet. Well, from the time that you saw it and the time it takes you to figure out your plan, buy all the things, understand what you need to do for this diet, it's probably been about another week. So it starts and you're actually doing pretty good for like a week or two. But then life does its thing and you're a mom. And so somebody gets sick or you get sick or you're away at a tournament and you fall off for a day. You tell yourself, it's fine. It's only a day. I'll get right back on track tomorrow. Well, tomorrow rolls around and things continue not to go as planned. And that one day turns into 2 days. And now you're starting to question everything. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, is this actually something that I can do? Maybe I'll just start fresh on Monday. Famous last words. So now Monday rolls around and it's hard. You kind of lost that momentum of motivation and you don't really want to get back onto it. So a whole week has passed. The challenge is still going on, but you're not actually doing anything. And now it's been almost a month and you're feeling like a failure again. When again, it's not you at all. You decided to take on something that didn't fit into your current lifestyle, number one. Number two, you didn't prep yourself for what's going to happen if some of these curveballs come up. How do I work around these curveballs? You didn't prep your mindset and your nervous system to be prepared when not everything goes perfectly every single day, like it almost never does. And number four, I think, is the number I'm on. You didn't stop to consider what's going to happen when this challenge is done anyways. Even if you do go see results from whatever diet challenge thing that you did, you had to work up so much energy and investment and whatever into just doing this challenge that you never stopped to think, well, what am I going to do when it's over? How am I going to make sure I keep the results that I got? Especially if it's something that didn't sound like it's something that you wanted to do for the rest of your life anyways. Like sometimes I think about people saying they're going to try a carnivore diet and like, what are you going to do when that's over? You want to only eat meat for the rest of your life? What are you going to do when that's over? You're going to do the 75 hard So you're going to be miserable for 75 days if you make it that long. And then what? What are you going to do after that? Do you have a plan? Because again, if you're using that to kind of kickstart some habits, fine. As long as you know which ones you want to hold on to when that challenge is over, which ones are going to be the ones that you know make you feel the best. Don't just do a 75 hard and then quit it all. Or people doing a wall Pilates challenge or something along those lines. Well, once the challenge is over, what are you going to do to move your body? You're just going to wait until the next thing that doesn't seem boring comes along and you decide to try that instead. Again, I'm all for doing whatever makes you happy and however you want to move your body, but I'm always going to go back and advocate for building your muscle for your long-term health. And that is one thing that is always going to be simple, basic, easy to do from anywhere. And it's just lifting weights. So what I want you to really start considering when you start looking into some of these challenges or habits or new things that you want to start, I want you to start asking yourself, is this something that I can see myself doing for the rest of my life? How many times have you sat down and actually asked yourself that? Can I see myself doing this for the rest of my life? Should I be doing this for the rest of my life? And if you can't, I'm going to be honest, it's not worth your time. Plain and simple. Especially if you haven't already tackled the basics of a healthy lifestyle. Again, water, whole foods, movement. And listen, I get it. I get where you're coming from. It can feel so overwhelming to implement something and think about it in terms of for the rest of my life. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this for the rest of my life. That sounds really intimidating. And you also probably have this nagging feeling of, well, I've tried that before and it also didn't work. I couldn't stick with it. And so again, your brain is continuing to feed you this lie, by the way, that you're not capable of sticking with things. And there's again a couple reasons for that. One may be that you just tried to take on too many things at once. You tried to make too many changes at once and it didn't fit into your lifestyle naturally. It took too much effort and caused too much overwhelm, and your nervous system wasn't prepared for that much change. And so because you had this all or nothing mindset of, well, I want to do all the things so I can get the results, because again, as a side note, most of the time when we start these lifestyle changes, it's with that goal of weight loss in the back of our minds. And then we sit there and we do our math and we're thinking, well, the more habits that I can change, the quicker my results are going to come. And you're not wrong about that. But that's something that I'm actually going to talk about here towards the end of the episode. So stay with me because I'm so excited for this perspective shift that we're going to go through. But I want to jump back to that lie that your brain is telling you, because again, it's what is feeding you all of this fear, and it's what's keeping you stuck because you've tried too many things, or because you didn't have the mindset to support your continuation with whatever habits that you were sticking with. That is why you are so afraid to try again, to try something that you've already tried, that you know is very likely going to work, or you already know it does make you feel better because the time that you stuck with it for a little bit, you did feel way better, but life did its thing, you fell off track, and your brain told you, hey, you're not capable of this, which again is a very real lie. We cannot always believe the story that our brain wants to tell us. In fact, I want you to take a moment and look back at your life and truly think of all of the hard things that you have done and you have been able to stick with. Childbirth or pregnancy comes to mind. Pregnancy lasts for a very long time. We have to make certain choices when we are pregnant, giving up alcohol, making sure that we are, taking care of our bodies in a different way to support the baby, all of those things. And that happens for a very long period of time. 9 months is a long period of time. And you might be thinking, well, I didn't really have a choice in the matter. I want you to consider this. Like, you did have a choice in the matter. You could have done whatever you wanted to. You could have drank all day, every day. You could have moved your body in whatever way that you wanted to, but you knew that that wasn't going to be what's safe for your baby, obviously. But I want you to consider the fact that there's always a choice. You always have a choice in what you decide to do. So now you don't feel like you are stuck in that like pregnancy, I don't have a choice loop, right? Now, when it comes to deciding to make those healthy choices for yourself, it feels like you have more options. It feels like, you know, the choices that you make right now aren't affecting anything like they would your baby right then and there. I drink alcohol, then my baby's going to suffer and feel these effects. It was kind of like that instant gratification of knowing my choice right here will cause X. And now it doesn't feel like you have quite that pressure. But I want you to consider something. One, the baby wasn't necessarily, you wouldn't have seen any of those effects right away. That would have been something like way down the line. It's just something that you know would affect your baby, and you don't want to cause harm to your baby at any stage in its life. Why can't we have that same stance when it comes to taking care of our own bodies? Alcohol still isn't doing anything great for you. The junk food that you're eating still isn't doing anything great for you. Can you feel their effects right now? No. But it's every single time that you're making these choices, they add up and they compound. And yes, the choice or the you don't have a choice in the matter, there is a level of that because your body's just going to respond to the choices that you make right now. And you're going to feel that years down the road when it's too late to back up. So, in a way, you really don't have a choice in the matter for how your body responds, but you do have a choice in the matter in the decisions that you're making right now to set yourself up for success years and years down the line. You want to be able to move with your kids at all ages of their life. You want to be that grandma that's still chasing her grandkids around. You want to be able to have a joy for life and find gratitude in everything. Those things don't just happen. They happen because of the choices that you make right now. So it's time to start taking your life seriously. It is time to start treating your body like it doesn't have a choice in how it's going to respond. So you better make the best choices that you can right now. Show up, do the hard things, make the uncomfortable decisions, do the things that feel a little bit more inconvenient because you know that's what's going to make you feel better in the long run. If you keep waiting around for life to slow down, for things to feel easier, to have more time, I'm going to tell you two things. One, that's not a healthy lifestyle. That's just making better choices when it's more convenient for you. And two, you're going to continue to believe that external circumstances have more control over the choices that you make than you personally and internally have over your own choices, which you do. You have full control over the choices that you make day in and day out. You just might not like the choices that you have. So we need to take control of what is in our control, let the rest go, and pivot our decision making based on the things that are out of our control so that you can take your control back and do what's best for you. Do what's best for your family, always. Because what you'll start to find when you start making that more inconvenient, harder decision is that most of the time it's going to end up making you feel better. And that ripple effect is going to stem down to your kids, and they're going to watch you with more energy because of the choices that you made, because of the changes that you made. And you're going to have more energy. You're going to have more patience. You're going to have more peace. And they're going to think, wow, I watched my mom take control of her life. And they're not going to be able to maybe express it just yet, but they're going to look back on that one day and say, my mom can do it, so can I. And so you'll realize that all of these things really are worth it, that you never needed some secret fix or trendy diet. You just needed to learn how to take control of your life and your health and follow the basics to make the best decision for you in every small moment of the day. Because that's really where healthy lifestyle is. It's in the millions of decisions that you're faced with day in and day out. So I want to cycle back around to that example one last time. You know, the one where it took you about a month just to try something new, only to feel like a failure again. And again, a whole month passed in that period of time. I want you to consider this new scenario because, again, time is going to pass anyways. So why not make the most of it? What if you started today on a Tuesday or Wednesday or whatever random day it is? You just decided to start drinking more water, trying to hit that 80 ounces of water every single day. And that's it. You just stick with that one singular goal. You're gonna drink 80 ounces of water every day. And you stick with it for 2 weeks, and that's it. That's all you focus on is drinking water for 2 weeks. Maybe some days you only hit 60, but you're still thinking, wow, I still did better than I did last week. This is still a win. You celebrate yourself along the way. And 2 weeks later, you're feeling really good. And you're thinking, wow, I did that. Let's add in one more thing. And you decide to just start walking an extra 1,000 steps a day. That's it. On top of what you're already doing, just an extra 1,000 steps a day. And so for 2 more weeks, you keep drinking your water because you found a good routine with that. It felt good. For the next 2 weeks, you focus on getting more steps in. And it's perfect. Some days you fall a little short. Some days you far exceed your goal. And two weeks have now passed and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I did it. I'm getting more steps in. I'm feeling really good. Maybe I can do one more thing. And so now you focus on going to bed a little bit earlier. And for 2 weeks, that's all you focus on. You're still drinking water, you're still walking, and you're just focused on getting yourself to bed earlier for 2 straight weeks. Again, not every day's perfect, but after about 2 weeks, you start to get in a good groove and you find your routine. And now what starts to happen is, sure, it's been 6 weeks and you've, quote, only tackled 3 things, but this is where the momentum starts to pick up. So maybe you haven't seen a lot of movement on the scale just yet. Maybe you're not feeling anything in the way your clothes are fitting. And yeah, 6 weeks has already passed. But this is where that turning point starts to happen. Because now you've built up this belief in yourself that you can, in fact, stick with the things that you set your mind to. And all of the things that you've been doing, drinking water, getting more movement, getting to bed earlier, you're starting to feel really good. And so you start to tackle some of the, quote, harder habits. You throw in 2 or 3 workouts a week. You start getting stronger and feeling better. And then you start to think after a couple weeks of that, gosh, I better make sure I'm supporting my workouts. Maybe I should start eating more protein. You start eating more protein. That causes you to cut back on junk food because you don't really need that junk food anymore. And it spirals and that momentum picks up and it gains. And now before you know it, it's been 12 weeks, 3 months, and you're down 8 pounds and down a jean size and feeling really freaking proud of yourself because all of these changes that you've made are actually doable and you can actually stick with them rather than being stuck in this loop of trying one extreme thing, falling off, and finding yourself right back where you started a month later. But nobody wants to go through that first 6 weeks of, quote, putting in effort and not seeing anything. Maybe you're not seeing it on the scale, but some really deep work is happening under the surface when you can start simple and small. And that progress that you saw 3 months later, it all started because you decided to do a really stupidly simple, quote, habit of drink more water. And that's it. But it compounded and you built momentum and you built something that you could stick with. So the results that you did get, you can actually sustain. And I can feel myself getting all worked up because I'm just so passionate about this. And that is why I do what I do and I have the program that I have and I work with women one-on-one so that if you aren't sure where to start for your particular life, or you've already tried drinking more water, you've already tried whatever, you need that additional support in your mindset. You need that additional support with, I want to start working out, but I don't even know what workouts to do. I want to start weightlifting. I want to take control of my protein, but I don't even know how to do it. And you just want someone to tell you what to do that fits into your lifestyle. That is what I'm here for. And I am so excited. I'm opening up even more spaces in my coaching program for March and taking the rest of February to get everybody in and onboarded so that we can hit the ground running in March, which is going to be here in 2 weeks, if you can believe it. And that is the time where it is. It's if you want to see results by summer, you want to walk around in your bathing suit by the pool that first week of June. That starts now. It doesn't start when you're panicking at the end of April and thinking, oh my gosh, I better get my stuff together. It starts now. So if you want to get started, simply shoot me a message on Instagram. You can apply on AllisonHaleyFitness.com. But if you are serious about taking control of your health in a very serious and real way, I'd love to chat with you. With that, thank you so much for joining me and listening to this episode of Realistically Consistent. As always, I do appreciate every review and rating that is left, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to Realistically Consistent. If today's episode helped you, please hit subscribe and leave a quick rating as it helps more moms find the show. You can visit AllisonHaleyFitness.com for more tools, tips, and ways to stay connected. And just as a quick reminder, I'm here to share general information and encouragement, but this podcast isn't meant to replace professional medical or health advice. Everyone's circumstances are different, so be sure to check in with your trusted healthcare provider before making any big changes. Thanks again for being here, and until next time, keep showing up for yourself one realistic step at a time.